We just talked last episode. I had to do a double header yesterday. Yesterday I talked about celebrating the life of Jesse Jackson for 45 straight minutes on episode 28, and then on episode 29 yesterday, I talked about releasing of Tyreek Hill and Bradley Chubb. We talked about NBA's first half report cards and Adam Silver's possible NBA's stop tank rule, and CB3 announced retirement. I've been talking about all that yesterday on the JDB's morning cap doubleheader. Today we'll just do one show, and then tomorrow two. We have another doubleheader tomorrow, so we can get extra episodes. Like I said, we have 5 episodes over the next 3 days. So what's coming up on today's morning to JDB's morning cap? We say good morning, y'all. This is JDB's morning cap. Today is February 19th, 2026. As March is approaching, March Madness is less than a month away. It was a wild finish yesterday in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Lasted Arkansas's, both ranked teams, 20 versus 25 matchup. I mean, right now, upsets keep piling up for college basketball, but this has been carried over from middle of January of this year. Right now, college basketball continues to be chaotic. Michigan is currently number 1 in the country right now. So that's what happens here. All right, so let's talk NFL right now. Yesterday we just talked about the Dolphins releasing Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill could pursue potential reunion in Kansas City, or Dallas should get Tyreek Hill under consideration. So right now, Kansas City and Dallas, or amongst other teams, are on the wagon as offseason is approaching. Getting here, so I'm going to ask this question. Would you like this? What's likely going to happen for Tyreek Hill? Will the Chiefs bring back Tyreek Hill, or the Cowboys make the biggest acquisition over the last 5 years? Well, there's no way I can pass Tyreek Hill. They just got Bieniemy back. So I'll take option 1. I'll take Tyreek Hill returning back to Kansas City, where he belongs. He won the Super Bowl in 2019-20 season. I believe that was his 4th season at the time. second with Patrick Mahomes becoming the starter. But yeah, I do like to bring Tyreek Hill back to Kansas City instead of signing with the Cowboys, because Cowboys have been lax. We'll get to that in a minute, or otherwise. But like I said, the Chiefs want to bring back Tyreek Hill for some reason because they really miss Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes clearly misses him. So you still got Travis Kelce, and now you're bringing Eric Bieniemy back as the offensive coordinator. I mean, he won two Super Bowls as an OC. I mean, technically, the Kansas City Chiefs offense seemed to be disappeared since Hill left. It's tough. The wide receivers are clearly replaceable. The Chiefs have so many replaceable wide receivers because at least almost no one will have 1,000-yard receiving. The only guys that have been consistent is Rashid Rice. I mean, Xavier Worthy too, yeah, but other than Rice and Worthy, they just don't have a consistent type of production in a wide receiver position. So bringing Tyreek Hill back could be more significant, but I'm not sure he's going to play next year. I don't think he will, because he has to work on his ACL joint knee from last year. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to get through that. It is really tough to get through this. I mean, the front office is trying to execute to bring Tyreek Hill back. It doesn't have to be next month. It could be a long wait. When I flashed it back yesterday, like I said, Tyreek Hill could be out of the NFL for 1 year to make sure he gets healthy. I said that yesterday when I flashed it back. And sometimes you really don't have a clue what you're going at right now. Maybe it's possible when Hill has a lot of stuff to be looking at. Maybe his numbers expect to be a whole lot different for Kansas City. We got to go back to 2016. He returned. I mean, he's done a lot of returning, and then he gets his wide receiver role. He's done multiple things. He returns for touchdowns. He scored touchdowns when he's receiver, and then when he's running. Even Alex Smith was a quarterback, or Mahomes. I mean, I completely care about when he's on the field, then off the field. When he continues to talk to the coaches, despite the minimum explanation, I would have seen how much time in left of Tyreek Hill. So if you want to bring Tyreek Hill back to Kansas City, I'm cool with it. I'm 100% cool with it. If he's healthy enough, they can get back to the Super Bowl. If Tyreek Hill doesn't play this season, even he signs with the Chiefs, he may not play it. Even he doesn't play this year, they're not making the Super Bowl. Even he comes back later this season, then there's a possible drop off. Last year, He only played 4 games with the Dolphins last year. He got hurt, never came back. He could be out of the NFL the entire 2026-27 season without signing with any of these teams. So if he wants to focus on his health, that's fine. It's understandable. Okay, so if Dallas does not intend to sign Tyreek Hill, why the Cowboys may not sign Tyreek Hill? Because it's not just they have Lamb and Pickens. Pickens was placed on a franchise tag a few weeks ago. And it may not make sense signing Tyreek Hill with Dallas. They just don't have enough the roster capacity to file an open spot in a wide receiver position unless someone gets hurt. But the Cowboys may not pursue Tyreek Hill because they just don't have. I'm not saying it's not good enough. They just want to rely on their draft picks, especially on defense. They want to rely on their draft picks for Dallas. Dallas is they have to draft defense and then sign someone else. Defense is going to be important this offseason for the Cowboys to make those moves. But Hill loves to go to the state of Texas to play with the Cowboys. But I'm not saying this isn't the right fit. I just don't see Jerry Jones put Hill to this franchise. And what happened if Hill is a Cowboy? I say, oh, the expectations is high. We're going to be a championship team. And then all of a sudden, we missed the playoffs again. And here's why. We make better plays and better money. But we're just not winning football games. What if we don't win football games if the expectations were high for Dallas? There could be some potential injuries. Dak Prescott's quarterback number drop off. Remember in 2019 with Mike McCarthy, not Mike McCarthy, it was Jason Garrett was still coaching. Jason Garrett was a head coach at the time. Jason Garrett was a head coach. Dak Prescott entering his 4th season with the Cowboys. They come off winning the NFC East Division 2018, end up losing the divisional round to the Rams. This season, the expectations are high. They projecting 10.5 wins. And most people picked over 10.5 wins and winning the NFC East Division back to back. But Philadelphia, not only they clawed back and won the NFC East Division, the Cowboys completely they're one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL. Injuries, the kicking game issues, and some drama, a lot of drama. And notable bad losses. They lost to a winless Jets. They lost to a injury-riddled Bears. They also had a bad loss against, the Vikings. But they had some losses that the game they should have beat. They lost against good teams. They struggle against good teams. That led to a missed postseason. It's a tough world right now. It's absolutely tough world right now. is too bad. You do not want to get through this in its own process. But Tyreek Hill to become the Cowboy? No way. No way. I mean, that's the problem. The problem is the Cowboys had someone who can really stepped up. But this team doesn't, let's say most people don't trust the Cowboys because they're absolutely they're absolutely overrated. You really want to know how desperate is Tyreek Hill? Because the Chiefs and the Cowboys are trying to connect their own dots. But Dallas doesn't need to connect their own dots. They connect their own dots themselves. They could really do that. Because of that, they could have they may struggle some because of it. Lord. But you maybe the Cowboys are just putting itself behind the eight ball. So right now, Tyreek Hill could return to Kansas City this offseason. The Cowboys have passed Tyreek Hill signing, so looks like Kansas City could bring Tyreek Hill back. That is likely gonna happen this offseason. But my main the main one that's gonna happen, stay out of the NFL for 1 year and then you get yourself back in shape. That's the key. So Tyreek Hill, he needs to think about it, either sign or sit out for next year. So we'll see how it goes in the next few weeks and beyond. All right, coming up in our morning cap, the Pistons battles the Knicks in New York tonight. I'll preview that game. And then rematch from 2022 NBA Finals, the Boston Celtics will visit the Golden State Warriors. They could do so without Stephen Curry. We'll talk about that. And Major League Baseball is returning tomorrow. We'll talk news. We'll preview the season in 2026 as it develops. So we will step aside in about 3 minutes. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, y'all. It'll be the Knicks hosting the Pistons. The Knicks are 35-20, which is the number 3 seed in the East. Pistons 40-13 record, best record in the association. Tip-off, it begins at 7:30 Eastern. So Pistons are 2-0 against the Knicks this season. Both have been in Detroit. This will be the third and final meeting of this 3-game season series. The Pistons are looking for a sweep here tonight in New York. Rematch from last year's Eastern Conference first round. Knicks took 4 out of 6 against Detroit. So the question is, who do you think who needs to step up for the New York Knicks tonight? They're actually favored at home today against the Knicks. Against the Pistons. So, who do you think who needs to step up for the New York Knicks? So maybe if it would happen, and I'm gonna say this, I could say who needs to step up for the Knicks to beat the Pistons today. I'm gonna say Karl Anthony Towns, because he needs to increase his minutes so he can stay out of foul trouble. I mean, the Knicks, the first 2 games against the Pistons, they got surrendered every single time. So now you have your home court tonight, so you don't have to surrender every points when Pistons have the ball. So how they can win this game, the Knicks defense has to swarm Cade Cunningham. That's the key. Cade Cunningham. The Knicks have to swarm Cade Cunningham. That's the key. If the game comes close, someone has to make a huge difference. The Pistons and Knicks have a 6-game separation for the number between 3 and number 1 seed. The Celtics are currently number 2 seed this season. Pistons is 2-0 against the Knicks, 3-1 against the Celtics. So, Pistons combined record against the Knicks and the Celtics, 5-1. Pistons is 5-1 combined against the Knicks and the Celtics because Detroit's defense is very good. The Pistons have the best defensive rating in basketball this season. They're number 1 in defensive rating. They're number 1 in rebounds. They have the best defensive rebounds percentage in basketball. They give up the second lowest offensive rebound rate in the NBA. I mean, rebounding efficiency, which is the best in the NBA. They rebound every single time. After misses, either it's 3-pointers, 2-pointers, free throws. I mean, they rebound consistently. And the Pistons, they generate a lot of offensive rebounds as well. So they're physical on both ends of the floor. Physicality is going to be a key by going forward. These two could see each other in the conference finals. But the Pistons are clearly a team to beat to come out of the East. They're actually favored to come out of the East right now. Despite the fact they're very young, Cade Cunningham is having an MVP type season. I mean, there's no questions asked. And then you really have, do you have any proof that this team could put themselves in a mix for the championship? I think they're a championship caliber team. The Pistons are clearly a championship caliber team. As for the Knicks, 35-30 record. Knicks are 35-20 this season, number 3 seed in the East. The Celtics are number 2, but you talk about Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, and now you add Jose Alvarado on this team. This team deserves to be in the conference finals if they're healthy enough. Anunoby is injured. McBride is still out with the injury. There could be a second round exit if that's the case. Knicks will have to face the Celtics in the semifinals once again. The Celtics will have a home court advantage again. And this time, well, the Celtics and Knicks are going to play tough. That's the key. Don't forget about that. it's a giant difference right now for the New York Knicks. They can really help to see how much they can do all that. But with that, with the best case scenario for the rest of the team, it doesn't go hard out. But it's tough to bring it down. That's all. It's really tough to bring it down. It wouldn't make sense if it wasn't for this. But it's I think the New York Knicks would have deserved a lot better than the people who did expect it to. So the Pistons are 2-0 against the Knicks. They're wrapping up this 3-game season series between these two teams. Pistons are looking for a sweep tonight in New York. Knicks try to win a game in this season series to avoid being swept. So, because last year, Knicks were swept by the Celtics in the regular season, but they took 4 out of 6 in the second round against the Celtics in the semifinals. That's a giant difference. That is a giant difference right now. It's just because it really doesn't matter what you're going at right now. So how many points K Cunningham was going to have tonight? About 35 points. Jalen Brunson, 36. So that's going to be my point predictions between these two players. And who do you think who's going to win tonight, Pistons or the Knicks? I'm going to pick the Pistons tonight, 124 to 119. I think the game is going to be close this time because 2 games were a blowout fashions wins in favor of the Pistons for 2 games in Detroit. I think in New York tonight, I think this game is going to go down to the wire. I think it's going to be it's could be the best case scenario for this one. All right, coming up, we'll talk Celtics and Warriors rematch from 2022 NBA Finals. And then baseball is officially back. We'll talk all of that. We will step away in 3 more minutes. All right, so we got Warriors and the Celtics rematch from 2022 NBA Finals. Warriors took 4 out of 6 in 2022. But this is the first matchup of the year between the Celtics and the Warriors. This game will be in San Francisco tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern. And the Celtics will see the Warriors again. This time will be at the Garden on March 18th. March 18th, that's when they took place, which is the Wednesday next month. So it's going to be same days of the month over again, but they add 2 more days. 31 days of the month of March. Celtics and Warriors, both teams are over 500. Celtics are 35-19, which is number 2 seed. Warriors are 29-26. Celtics are number 2 seed in the East. The Warriors number 8 seed of the West. And they're in the play-in picture. Warriors are in the play-in picture. The Celtics on the number 2 seed, they will have their byes if the play-in game started today. Had started today. So let's take But first, I'm going to talk about Jason Tatum's potential return. I didn't get to notice over the last week and a half or so. Jason Tatum's possible return is March 1st, as the Celtics is battle the Sixers in the final regular season meeting between these two teams. This game will be at the Garden. Sixers has a season series lead 2-1. They have not played since the middle. Around middle of November of 2025. So we have Celtics and the Warriors tonight. Jason Tatum's return is March 1st. So I'm going to talk Jason Tatum first, and before we preview the Celtics and the Warriors. Jason Tatum, hopefully he comes back strong, and I'll tell you why. Because I believe he deserves to return a championship form. And Jason Tatum, he said, when I'm returning, I'm believing this team is time to get serious. Well, the Celtics is not, they're not a joking basketball team. This team has played hard. They compete. They're winning games. Not only when it's necessary, they're winning games that they needed, they expected or not expected to win. So otherwise, it would have been good, right? It would have been good right now. But oddly, that you can really. I can take this. They could be contenders again if Tatum does come back. If Tatum comes back, then they could be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Facing the Pistons could be potentially challenging. Jason Tatum has the ability to get back on his feet from here on out. I mean, it's gonna help. It's gonna help the Celtics to get back to the finals, and they could face the Thunder, maybe the Spurs. The Spurs team is legit. We all been talking about it all year long, but the Celtics, for Jason Tatum, this is key for them because with Joe Mazzulla was really asking for it, Coach of the Year. Is he going to be a Coach of the Year consideration? Yes, he could be. He will be Coach of the Year consideration. But you think about Jason Tatum, and it's a lot. There's a lot of things that have been going at the plate. Somebody has to step up to the plate. Somebody has to step up to the challenge when it's necessary. That is a giant difference. The Celtics could make a huge difference. If Tatum comes back, this team could get to the NBA Finals. They got to get past the Knicks. They got to get past the Pistons for the conference semifinals and conference finals, respectively. In fact, you could face the 7th seed of their choice, the winner of their play-in tournament, the battle for the 7th spot of the Eastern Conference. First round is no problem. You can get out of the first round. The question is, can they get out of the second round and conference finals? They've done that multiple times since they've returned. And you already done it. You already done that. You done your part. You already done your part. All right. Be back in 1 minute. Okay, so I'm back. Just a quick break. Quick 1 minute break. I was talking about Jason Tatum possible returning on March 1st. As long as there's no setbacks. But let's talk about the Warriors. They're hanging on by thread for the play-in picture. The Warriors will have to face the Suns in a play-in tournament game, battle for the 7th seed, if the play-in tournament started today. Stephen Curry out tonight once again. Stephen Curry still dealing with a knee injury. Still no Porzingis, Achilles. Right now, the Warriors are dealing a lot of injuries all season long. Understandable. But the Warriors are 29 and 26, and largely they've done some decent things. Like Pinchinsky, Melton, Moses Moody. Even Draymond Green has to step up. Even Draymond has deserved to be a leader for this team. Doesn't have to do much. Golden State. I mean, you talk about the Warriors. Stephen Curry is the greatest player of all time. I respect each and every one of the person. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's the best 3-point shooter in the history of the NBA, without a shadow of a doubt. He's the best scoring point guards in the history of in the game. I mean, number of 3-pointers that he made is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you talk about Stephen Curry, Steve Kerr, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant a little bit. Those are the legacies. The Warriors have won 4 titles. Kevin Durant has won two championships with the Warriors. Both have been 2-time Finals MVP. Warriors have won 4 titles in the Steve Kerr era. The other ones, Andre Iguodala, NBA Finals MVP, and then Stephen Curry finally got his Finals MVP for the first time in his career. He could have got 2 or 3 of them, but Kevin Durant with the team is understandable. Without Durant, Stephen Curry could be the favorite to win the MVP of the NBA Finals. He only got 1 out of those 4. Well, that's quite surprising, but Stephen Curry is a hell of a player than that. Draymond Green, he's a hell of a player than that. Draymond Green, you want to talk a lot of trash and all that stuff. Flagrants, technical fouls, get into a physical altercation time and time again. After all these years, you're talking trash about Draymond Green. But you can't be surprised. But Warriors fans do respect Draymond Green this much. I'm not shocked. I'm not in a shocking mode right now, but I'm saying that Draymond he's a one hell of a player than that. All right, now we can preview Celtics and the Warriors. Let's just say all this about that. The Golden State Warriors, 29 and 26, 8th seed, play-in picture. What is going through the Warriors' mind this season? Well, a little bit. What the Warriors has been going through their mind. I believe they still can get into the playoffs as an 8th seed, and they could face the Thunder in the first round. And despite the fact that Thunder is the best team in the West, they're still dealing with a bunch of injuries. They're still winning basketball games when it's necessary. So bringing SGA is going to be significant, but the Warriors are just waiting for the right moment. They're just waiting for the right moment. Golden State, they just need help. The good news is they at Kristaps Porzingis, but I'm not sure he's gonna play the rest of the season. I'm I'm just not sure right now. This is concerning for the Warriors. They have a lot of injuries, maybe some inconsistencies along the way. This isn't gonna help. And then Jimmy Butler be out for the rest of the year. That's gonna hurt their cause. That's definitely gonna hurt. This is tough. All right, for the Celtics, 35-19, number 2 seed in the East. Jaylen Brown, All-Star this year. I mean, the Celtics team, they got off to a tough 0-3 start, and since then, they're one of the best teams in the East. They're 35-19 overall, and they will continue to build on this. If they continue to build on this, then they could be the number 2 seed by the postseason. Now they're possibly bringing Tatum back. That's huge, but this is going to work out for the best for them, and hopefully they can put themselves in prime position for them if that's going to be the case. So there's a lot they can do it for themselves in this one here. We just get so this is what happens. This is what happens. We can put themselves in prime positions in that one. All right, so the Warriors are gonna put Porzingis. They're gonna make Porzingis. All right, Warriors or expect Porzingis to make his debut tonight, and he could come off the bench. He's gonna come off the bench tonight, if that's the case. All right, so who do you think who's gonna lead and score for respective teams? Celtics, Jaylen Brown, he'll lead the way with 38 points. For the Warriors, I'm gonna go with Princhetsky with 27. I think he'll make a huge impact for the Warriors tonight. But I picked the Celtics to win. I think Celtics win 125 to 110, 125 to 110. Celtics is going to win tonight. That's going to be my picks. All right, coming up, we'll talk Major League Baseball. We'll preview the 2026 season. We'll talk about Tony Clark's resignation and all that stuff, and last year's awards and all that stuff. We will step aside in 3 minutes. All right, welcome back on JDB's Morning Cap. Major League Baseball is returning tomorrow as spring training is beginning. World Baseball Classic is beginning as well in a few weeks. So we are so looking forward to that. Dodgers are back-to-back World Series champs between 2024-25. So 2026 is going to be different this year. Notable rules this year. ABS, automatic balls and strikes, are going to challenge this year. And here's how this is going to work for the ABS. If the pitch calls a strike on the outside of the strike zone, then the batter has to put his hand on the helmet to challenge. If the pitch would have been a strike, if they call the ball, either the catcher or the pitcher has to tap his hat or a helmet to challenge to overrule the call. If they win the challenge, then you get another opportunity. If you lose your challenge on the ABS call, then you're not allowed the ability to challenge until extra innings. Challenges, calling the plays first and all that kind of stuff are still on as well. So here's my question right now. Do you agree that ABS system comes to Major League Baseball? Do you agree with this? The answer is yes. I had to agree with it. Right now, the strike zone has been called strikes rate is amongst the worst in the history of Major League Baseball last year. The strike zone. So it's called automated ball strike system, which means for every broadcast, the strike zone will be dissolved. So they have to take away from this. I think they made the right decision, because we got to make sure the strike zone is accurate. Make sure so ejections from arguing balls and strikes could be limited. So it's going to improve that. So what other MLB rules that I didn't get to mention? They say base coaches, box enforcement. They say the umpires will have to stay in their coach's box to ensure there's no interference, or ensuring there's no sign stealing situations. So if the base coach gets off of the batter, any of the base coach gets off of the base coaching box the first time, it's a warning. Then if the base coach gets out of the box for the second time, that's an automatic ejection. The other rules that I didn't mention, the obstruction rule. Let's say if the runners are initiating contact with the fielders, could consider obstruction. So those are the notable rules. Now I want to see here. All right. So let's talk about what happened last year. As far as winning awards or the titles. Let's start off with the National League Awards. National League Rookie of the Year last year was Drake Baldwin from the Atlanta Braves, catcher. National League Manager of the Year was Pat Murphy of the Milwaukee Brewers, back-to-back. National League Cy Young winner, Paul Skeens from the Pittsburgh Pirates. And then National League Most Valuable Player was Shohei Ohtani, once again, back-to-back. Shohei Ohtani won 3 consecutive MVPs dating back to 2023. American League Awards. American League Rookie of the Year, Nick Kurtz from the Athletics from West Sacramento. American League Manager of the Year, Stephen Vogt from the Cleveland Guardians. American League Cy Young, Tyreek Hill from Detroit Tigers. And then for the American League Most Valuable Player was Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees, back-to-back. First time of his career for Judge, winning back-to-back MVPs. Joins elite history, by the way. Those are the respective league awards last year. Who were the top 6 in the playoffs in respective conferences last season? For the American League, number 1 was the Blue Jays. Number 2 was the Mariners. Number 3 was the Guardians. Those are division winners between the East, West, and Central. The wild cards were the Yankees, Red Sox, and the Tigers. They were wild card teams last year who made the playoffs. For the National League, number 1 was the Brewers. Number 2 was the Phillies. Number 3 was the Dodgers. Brewers won the National League Central. Phillies won the National League East. The Dodgers won the National League West, of course. The wild cards, the Cubs, Padres, and the Reds were in the playoffs last year as a wild card teams. American League champions was the Toronto Blue Jays. The American League champions runner-up was Seattle Mariners. National League champions, the Los Angeles Dodgers. National League champions runner-up, the Milwaukee Brewers. World Series winner was the Dodgers. The World Series runner-up was the Blue Jays. Those are last year's awards and champions. Most surprising in baseball last year was the Cincinnati Reds. Most disappointing, the New York Mets, due to the collapse. I mean, speaking of the Mets, they lost Pete Alonso to the Orioles, signing for a 5-year deal. Never just rely on the pitching and the leadership of Juan Soto. This will be his second of his 15-year Mets contract. They spent a whole lot of money for this, and they completely collapsed it. All right, so let's think about this. All right, let's pick the divisions predictions. Let's go from the American League East to the National League West. We'll start the American League division first. We'll start American League East. I'm going to start from worst to first, if that's okay. Number 5, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay Rays with a 74 and 88 record. Pitching is still going to be good, but the injuries will continue to pile up for the Rays. I think they're the worst team in the American League East with a 74 and 88 record. I just don't see the Rays don't have enough firepower offensively. Number 5 is the Tampa Bay Rays from the American League East. Number 4, this is a close one. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Orioles. Orioles will go 78 and 84. I think they'll be better. They got Pete Alonso. Their offense can be good, but I don't trust their pitching that much. So I'll pick number 4, the Baltimore Orioles, with a 78 and 84 record. Number 3 is the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox will be 86 and 76. Their pitching is going to be great, but the offense might fall apart. But I think they're still going to have a winning record. I'm not sure they're going to qualify for the playoffs. Number 2 is the Toronto Blue Jays. The win totals will be down still, but I think they're still a playoff team. They'll be 89 and 75. Something like that. No, they'll be 89 and 73. Blue Jays will be 89 and 73. I think the offense is still going to be good, but the pitching could be in question. I think the starting rotation is still going to be good, but the bullpen is a question mark. I think they're going to win 89 games. I think they still could get into the playoffs. Number one is the New York Yankees. They won 91 games last year. Get another 90-win season. I'm going to go 92 and 68, right? Actually, 92. I'm going to go 93 and 69. I'm going to go 93 and 69 for the New York Yankees. The expectations are high again. Bringing Garrett Cole back could be nice. And Aaron Judge is going to win his third consecutive MVP. And another 50 home run season. American League Central. Who's worst? Number 5. I want to say Chicago White Sox. Chicago White Sox will be number 5. Am I right? Or the Twins? No, number 5 is the Minnesota Twins. I take that back. The Minnesota Twins is number 5. The Twins will go 69 and 93. The Twins will go 69 and 93. This team is going to be a disaster for sure. I mean, the Twins, they had nobody. They'll be 69 and 93. Number 4 is the Chicago White Sox. They're better, but they're not quite good yet. But I believe they'll go 70 and 92. They're going to win 70 games. They're going to lose another 90-game season. They'll go 70 and 92. They'll be better, but I think they're still losing more games, especially between early through middle of the season. And then late in the season hits, then they'll get rolling down the stretch. So the White Sox will be 70 and 92. They're not quite there yet. Number 3 is the Kansas City Royals. Royals will be 80 and 82 team. They're mediocre. Their pitching still be great, but the offense is mediocre at best. Bobby Witt Jr., I love him to death, but no playoffs for the Royals. Number 2 is the Cleveland Guardians. They'll be 87 and 75. I think they'll make the playoffs again. This time, they're not going to win the division. They got lucky last time, but I don't think they'll be lucky this time. 87 and 75. I'll take the record. I'll take another winning record, and I'll take another postseason bound as a wild card. And finally, the best team in the Central is Detroit Tigers. They'll be 92 and 70. They'll be 92 and 70 in the regular season. I believe this is the team that can beat. They could be in control in this one. Excuse me. The American League West. Number 5 is Los Angeles Angels. They'll be 68 and 94. The Angels, so many injuries. They're clearly tanking right now. Number 4 is the Athletics. The Athletics will go 81 and 81. I think they'll be better. Their offense is going to be good. Pitching will be better too, but they just don't have enough firepower just yet. They're not making the playoffs, but they're better. But they're going to be a 500 baseball team. They'll be 81 and 81. They're not quite there yet. Number 3 is the Houston Astros. Astros will go 82 and 80, still missing the playoffs for the second consecutive year. Yordan Alvarez, I'm not sure when he's coming back. Their pitching is still going to be good, but they just don't have enough firepower right now, consistently. Number 2 is the Texas Rangers. They'll be 88 and 74. They're a playoff team. I think they're going to be a playoff team. 88-74. I think they're a playoff team to me because this is a golden opportunity to rely on their heavy pitching and not much offense. And the best team in the Western and American League is Seattle Mariners. They're going to be 91. They're going to be 88-74. Actually, they're going to be 90-72 again. They'll be 90-72. They're going to win the American League West. For the National League East, number 5 is the Washington Nationals with a 71-91 record. Number 4 is the Miami Marlins, 70-92. Right? No, the Marlins will be 73-89. The Marlins will be number 4, 73-89. Number 3 is, it's a close one. Number three is going to be the Philadelphia Phillies with an 86-76 record. Number 2 is the New York Mets with an 87-75 record. And number 1 is the Braves with a 91-71 record. The Braves will win division. For the National League Central, number 5 is St. Louis Cardinals. The St. Louis Cardinals, I think they're going to be the worst team in baseball, unfortunately. They're going to go 66-96. 66-96 for the Cardinals. Number 4, Pittsburgh Pirates, 76-86. Number 3, Cincinnati Reds, 84-78. Number 2 is the Brewers, 85-77. Number 1 is the Cubs, 95-67. Number 5 is, let's start with the National League West. Number 5 is Colorado Rockies, 67-95. Number 4 is the San Francisco Giants, 81-81. Number 3 is the Arizona Diamondbacks, 82-80. Number 2 is the San Diego Padres, 89-73. And then number 1 is the Los Angeles Dodgers, 96-66. Best record in baseball. So that's the teams. That's a prediction record right now. Favorite to win the American League pennant is the New York Yankees. National League pennant, Los Angeles Dodgers. World Series winner, Yankees. All right, so let's talk about Tony Clark resignation for 3 minutes. We had breaking news. Tony Clark is resigning as MLB Players Association executive due to an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law. So the crisis of Clark's leadership is taking a huge setback. And the scandal, the crisis, like I say, he's allegedly had an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law. Remember, Sharon Moore got caught with an inappropriate relationship with a Michigan co-worker a few months ago. He got charged and fired. Tony Clark did the same thing, but this time he's not charged just yet. He had an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law. I mean, this is really, really bad. to go through this. It's really bad to go through this right now, and it's tough. It's tough to go through it in this situation. But right now, Tony Clark, you gotta believe it. The scandals. We only had a signing student scandal 6 years ago. We had a Michigan scandal in college football, and now a scandal are going to go against Tony Clark's ledger. This is a really tough situation right now. All right, we'll be back. We're going to wrap things up. And then what's coming up in our next episode, don't forget, what's coming up tomorrow. We'll do 2 episodes tomorrow. So we'll step away in 3 minutes. All right, let's wrap things up. All right, so what's coming up tomorrow? Don't forget, tomorrow we have a doubleheader, episode 31 and 32. On episode 31, I'm going to talk about the recap between the Celtics and the Warriors, Pistons, Knicks, and we'll talk some NFL as well. That's episode 31 tomorrow. And episode 32, second episode of the doubleheader, we'll talk the full coverage of March Madness brackets and which they can get to the Final Four, Sweet 16, Elite 8, all that kind of stuff. So we'll have that full coverage tomorrow. But I just want to say, when we talked about it today, where is Tyreek Hill most likely pursuing? Dallas or Kansas City? I chose Kansas City. We've been talking about that earlier today. We've talked about Jason Tatum's potential return is March 1st against Philadelphia. We preview Celtics, Warriors, Pistons, Knicks. We talk about Major League Baseball will return tomorrow. World Baseball Classic is coming up in a few weeks. Regular season's 1 month away. We talk about automated ball strikes rule in Major League Baseball. It's a cool moment. I think this is going to be cool for the rest of the time. All right, that's it, man. This is JDB's Morning Cap. We'll see you tomorrow. Doubleheader tomorrow. Don't forget. Have a good day.